third graders. This is Mrs. Dale. Hello. I was going to do a live video so that we could chat or graph our data together this week, but I couldn't figure out a good way to be live and allow you to really see what's happening with our graph. So I decided an up-close video would work better. So we are going to work together here to make a scaled picture graph for our data that was coming from the data collection post on the Google Classroom. So first of all, we're going to look at the data. We're going to look and see what kind of numbers we have. Now, most of you at this point have finished the scaled picture graph lesson on iReady. And so while we're working through this, I really want you to listen for the types of things we're thinking about while we're making this graph. And hopefully they're going to sound familiar and similar to what you saw on the computer lesson. Okay? So we're going to look at our data. These were our 4 categories that we could vote on. And I'm going to give you right now the number of votes that each activity received. So swimming received 20 votes. Lots of swimmers in our group. Reading received 2. Wah, wah. Not too many summer readers in our group here. Sleeping in, y'all know that's the one I would have voted for, got 4 votes. We must have a lot of early risers. And video games got 8. More than reading, but not as many as swimming. So I was happy to see that that wasn't the top vote getter. So now we have our data and we can start thinking about how we want to organize it into a scaled picture graph. First of all, we need to give our graph a title. And the title needs to show whoever's looking at it what information they're going to get from the graph. So we don't want to say fun things to do in the summer. We don't want to say things we have to do in the summer. We want to say these are our favorite summer activities. That was the question that was asked. What is your favorite summer activity? So I'm going to title our graph Favorite Summer Activities. Now, anyone who looks at our graph knows that's the information that they're going to get from this data. What were the favorite summer activities of the people who voted? Okay. The next thing we need to look at are our numbers. And I want to think about, what do all of these have in common? Or is there something in common about all of these numbers? That's how we're going to decide what our scale is going to be. We're going to be using pictures to represent votes, which means we've got to decide how many votes each picture is going to represent. Because it was summer activities, I picked the picture of a cool sunglassed sun. So we're going to use this picture to show our data. And what we have to decide is, how many votes is each sun going to represent? Yes, we could just say 1 sun is 1 vote. We could do that. There are a lot of graphs where it's just 1 tick mark, 1 picture, 1 line represents 1 object, 1 vote, 1 thing. But I want you to think about this one here. That's a lot of votes. That would take a lot of suns to represent the data. And just like with our other mathematical ideas, we want to be as efficient as possible. And putting 20 sons would not be efficient for us as the graph maker, and also counting 20 sons would not be efficient for anybody who was trying to read our graph. So we want to make the information as concise and precise as possible. So when I look at these numbers, I notice that they're all even. 20 is even. 2 is even. 4 is even. 8 is even. Even numbers are multiples of 2. They're numbers we land on when we skip count by 2. So I'm going to make my scale 2. Each sun picture is going to equal 2 votes. That's our scale. We're letting our viewer know how much this represents. It represents 2 votes, okay? All right, so now we're gonna look at each category. I'm gonna start with swimming, 20 votes. So now I'm gonna have to put a row of pictures up there that's gonna represent 20 votes. But this picture here does not mean 1, it means 2. We've said each picture is going to represent 2 votes. So I'm going to add pictures of the sun until I get to 20, but I'm going to be skip counting by 2 by our scale. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, I'm gonna check my thinking. I know each vote is 2, or each sun is 2 votes. 2 times what equals 20? Think about that. 2 times 10 equals 20. So I need to have 10 sons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then if I want to check again on my thinking, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 votes are represented by our 10 sons. Now we're going to do reading. Poor reading. Y'all need to find some exciting books that'll get you pumped up to be summer readers. Reading only got 2 votes. Our scale is 1 sun equals 2 votes. So how many sons will reading have on our picture graph? That's right, only 1. 1 sun equals 2 votes, and reading only got 2 votes, so it only gets 1 sun. All right, sleeping in, 4 votes. 4 votes. So I'm gonna skip count by 2 to show my 4 votes. There's 2 votes, 4 votes. 1, 2 times 2 equals 4. 2, 4. All right, last one. Video games. 8 votes. So I'm gonna think to myself, 2 times what equals 8? Well, let's skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 times 4 equals 8. That means I'm gonna need 4 sons. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna double check. 2 times 4 equals 8. And I can also skip count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8 votes. So there it is. There's our scaled picture graph. Write that here just as a reminder. Scaled picture graph. It's scaled because we used the pictures and we said how many votes each picture was worth. It's a picture because it's actually using a picture to represent the votes. And it's a graph because it's organized data. This makes information easy to interpret. Also, we've given it a title that tells what this information is truly expressing. So I am going to post this, and we're going to keep this because next week your activity on iReady, one of your teacher assigned lessons, is going to be solving problems using a scaled picture graph. That means looking at something like what we just made and then using this information to answer some questions. So you'll have that lesson next week, and also I will post some questions that you can answer about our scaled picture graph, or using the data in our scaled picture graph to find your answers. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the picture graph. It is my favorite kind of graph just because pictures are just more fun. So hopefully you enjoyed it. You all did a nice job on your lesson, and I think you'll do a great job answering the questions next week using scaled picture graphs. Talk to you soon. Miss you.